booties for black girl nerds.
Deborah and Ashley, I had the pleasure of watching the first 4 episodes during the South by Southwest weekend. And I watched it with my 86-year-old mom, who moved here from the South, from Louisiana, I live in Inglewood, California. Similar kind of thing. She was told similar kind of messaging. And I thought she would be afraid of it or didn't like it, but she really enjoyed it. She kept saying, "We ain't no punks. That's right. That's right." Every time you guys did something on the screen. Beginning with you, Deborah, this is it's rooted in some very historical things with a modern sensibility and horror and trauma. What first appealed to you about this role?
For me, I'm drawn to characters, to Black women, Black female characters that are not written one-dimensionally. I feel like a lot of times when I read scripts, I feel like I have a problem with when Black women are written one way. They have one note, because we're so layered. There's so much to us. So for me, I felt like little Marvin handled creating Lucky with so much care and so much intention and so much honesty. And when I read that, I was like, where do I sign up? To be honest with you, I felt like I could see so much of myself in Lucky, and I felt like I wouldn't be the only one that can see, herself or even himself in Lucky. Like hearing of your grandma, that brings me so much joy just to know that she saw and was like, yes, because that was my goal the whole time, is to just play her as honestly and authentically as I could, so that someone who's experienced that could feel completely seen and could feel, heard. So
she definitely did. She was just riveted for we sat through the first 4 hours of it. Ashley, for Henry, his burden is so heavy. It's always heavy for a Black man. When you're trying to support your family, you're trying to give them the best life possible. Maybe that requires you moving somewhere else, unpopular choices. When you reflect on digging into the character and what motivated your portrayal of it, what did you look to in your history period to kind of shape who Henry was in these circumstances?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, when I first read the script, I was actually quite scared of it just because of the weight that this character had. I thought that, it was about a Black man who loved his family unconditionally, and it was written by someone who looked like me. So that was just like the first tick on the box. And with those extra layers and nuances, for me, that's what was appealing to me for the character. In terms of like research and stuff, when I approach any role, the first thing I do is like make sure that I've stripped away my ego. That's the first thing I have to do. So, I've grown up in the UK and I have that Black experience. So there are some things that I can extrapolate and put into this performance. But I had to, with that stripping down of the ego, understand that the Black American experience is a unique experience unto its own. So with that, I had to sort of speak to my cousins, my family members who are African-American, some trusted friends that are African-American, and understand their experience, which helps to bridge the gap in my lack of understanding. And I was fortunate enough to have someone who lived in my building when I was living in Los Angeles. He was an elder Black gentleman who grew up in Texas. And he grew up under Jim Crow, and he was kind enough to share just so many life experiences with me. And that helped to inform the choices I made as Henry. And I sort of used myself as like a vessel to channel all those different elements into my performance. And I think so, to make it as authentic as possible, because as Deborah said, what we want to do is just make sure that anyone that is watching this show, whether they grew up in that time or they've heard of like stories from that time, that it's real, and these characters are real, and they're grounded in a real place, and they're having real reactions and real emotions to the material and to the scenario for the characters.
Absolutely. Well, they're going to give me the Apollo hook on the way out, but thank you for your time. This is a very, very fascinating project. I'm very anxious to see the rest. Thank you. You both performed very beautifully. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.